Ladies and gentlemen, just to explain why we're having this press conference today, I think it is important that we as Bersih inform the public what our views are as to the state of affairs in relation to the forthcoming elections. Can we as Malaysians expect true reform to take place before the 13th general elections? The answer to that question is no. And we concluded that the answer to that question is no, given the conduct of the SPR to date. I think you will all know that they have, as far as the electoral roll is concerned, which is one of the most important demands of Bersih is concerned, the EC chief in April this year proclaimed that our electoral roll is the cleanest in the world. Then, of course, civil society and the political parties managed to show many cases of discrepancies and potential fraud in the electoral roll. And I believe that the Selangor government also had a project in this regard. After many months of saying that we are the cleanest electoral roll in the world, finally the EC sets up a unit, a special unit, to clean the electoral roll in November. I believe just a few weeks ago that was announced. I believe it's November this year. Why so late? This is on the eve of elections, despite the fact that since July last year, we have been saying there is something wrong with the electoral roll. They've been denying it and leaving it to the last minute, just before the elections, to set up a special unit. And what is this special unit? Bersih too said, if you're going to have a special unit, that's a good thing, but have party representatives there, representatives of all parties there. Of course, they turn a deaf ear. We don't know what this special unit is doing. We have no idea. And as I say, it is truly an act of bad faith to set this unit up on the eve of the elections, when it was perfectly within their knowledge that there were many discrepancies on the electoral roll. So whether there's going to be a cleaning up of the electoral roll before the 13th general elections, in our view, there is not going to be a sufficient enough cleaning up of the rolls. And while they say they are cleaning up the rolls on the one hand, on the other hand, we continue to receive reports of discrepancies on the roll, increasing discrepancies on the roll, of sudden apparent shifts in boundaries or sudden upsurge of voters in certain areas. And we receive these reports particularly from what we might view as the hotly contested areas. So that is one of our concerns. The other thing that we have highlighted in the statement here is in relation to the question of observers. They made such a huge fuss about inviting international observers, saying it's an interference in our country, etc., etc. That's nonsense. That is not interference in a country. Malaysia actually is an observer in other people's elections. How can you then say other people's observation of ours is an interference? And they are so reluctant to name and commit to calling in of international observers. Now they say they may restrict it to ASEAN. Why? Why? If we are so confident, if they are so confident their elections are so clean, they would of their own volition, without even Bersih pushing for it, they would have said, we are going to invite because we want everyone to know our elections are clean. But that's not what they're doing. Free and fair access to the media. What is the great step forward they have taken, I am using that sarcastically, is to allow manifestos to be pre-publicized, to be recorded and then publicized on the television station. That is supposed to be their great stride forward to free and fair access to the media. Now, as far as all our 8 demands are concerned, the easiest one to fulfill is free and fair access to media, and yet they can't do it. Then we have the cases of political violence. Now, I'm going to suggest that we should not vote for any candidate who supports political violence. We shouldn't. We should reject it. And those leaders who keep quiet when political violence takes place, we should also reject, because we should make a stand. Malaysians must make a stand about political violence. We are not happy with it. Now, why is it neither the EC nor anyone else is prepared to take a stand on political violence? But what is important about political violence is that it is a symptom. It is a symptom of a flawed election. It is a symptom of a bigger disease, which is the flawed election that we're going to face. So, for these reasons, and of course I don't have to go into the other demands. Dakwat Kekal, yes, they have said yes to indelible ink, but we're not happy with or put it this way, there's not enough clarity about how it's going to take place. And we're not very happy about the ink being dipped before voting, because we think it should be after. Those little things like that. So as far as we are concerned, there is no sincere commitment to free and fair elections. So the 13th general elections, in our view, is not going to be free and fair. As a result, Bersih has decided that we will do what we can as citizens to ensure, to the best of our ability, free and fair elections. And the way we're going to do that is, number one, we are going to step up our campaign, our Jom 100 campaign. We are going to go out there and invite voters to please come forward and vote on that day, because the large numbers of voters can make a big difference to the fraud. It can minimize or mitigate the fraud to some extent. Secondly, we are going to expand our Jom Pantau campaign, and we are going to build up bigger numbers of citizen observers. It happens in many countries where we will pick certain key constituencies and we will have our own observers on the ground, and reports will be issued by these observers. So those are the 2 steps that we are taking. We need volunteers for the Jom Pantau project, and we will be launching that in January and giving you more details. But you can actually go to the Jom Pantau website right now and sign up as a volunteer. So I think we need to make sure that our elections are peaceful, clean and fair, because that is all that we want.